What's up, guys? So, one of my wonderful subscribers asked a was curious about this particular document right here, the infant document. And I'm not going to show the whole document because it's 37 pages of information. And so, what I did is I have my own local AI model running on my computer, and I gave it the document and told it to give me a detailed summary of the document. And basically, this first section is not relevant to the infant part of the document. And so I had to tell him to tell me about the information pertaining to the infant. Okay? Because that's what really the document's all about. And when you say infant, you first have to understand what the infant is and what's being referred to as the infant, or who is being referred to as the infant in the document. And so let's just see what the AI model tells us. He says, based on the provided citations, here is a detailed summary of the information pertaining to infants in legal and jurisdictional contexts. So, jurisdiction over infants, the inherent power, jurisdiction over the estate of an infant is inherent in equity, and this means the courts have the authority to oversee the property of interests of minors. Okay, so infant is another word for minor. Okay, and that's very important. So individuals are considered infants if they're also considered minors. And vested by Constitution and statute, primary jurisdiction can be vested in particular courts, such as probate, county, district, or other specified courts under constitutional or statutory provisions. The institution of proceedings affecting the infant's property makes the infant a ward of the court. Okay? Wardship. Once a proceeding is instituted, the infant becomes the ward of the court, and the court acts in loco parentis, or in place of a parent. This means the court has broad powers to protect the infant's interests with great care. The court can act on its own motion without being bound by the pleadings of counsel. Powers of the court. After the jurisdiction attaches, the court has broad, comprehensive, and plenary powers over the estate of the infant. The court may adjudicate the rights and equities of the infant and property. It can cause to be done whatever is necessary to preserve and protect the infant's estate. It can cause to be done whatever is necessary to preserve and protect the infant's estate. The limitations. Exercising such powers must be tempered with reasonable limitations. The court cannot act in violation of constitutional or statutory limitations on its powers. The infant has the right to the absolute enjoyment of funds at majority. And impounding for the creation of a trust must not deprive the infant of this right. Okay, adverse possession. Then we're going to go into adverse possession and statutory provisions in adverse possessions, okay, and transactions with banks, deposits and accounts, safekeeping, maintenance of the infant estate. Okay, the court maintains the infant estate. And in summary, when dealing with infants in legal contexts, the court has inherent power to oversee the estate of an infant or a minor. Okay, infants become wards of the court upon institution of proceedings affecting their property. The court acts in loco parentis, and has broad powers to protect the infant's interests. There are reasonable limitations. Adverse possession statutes can be suspended or restricted during infancy. Infants have the same rights as adults regarding bank deposits and accounts. The court may order judicial allowances for support, maintenance, and education. These principles ensure that infants' property interests are protected and managed appropriately by the legal system. Okay? So, the big deal is I gave him another document, okay, that goes right along with this, okay? And I tell him that according to Congress, a significant event occurs when a person reaches the age of the majority. Okay, and please explain how this relates to the previous document concerning the infant estate. All right, and because I gave him a law, is what I gave him from 1940. And he tells me that certainly provided documents and the user query relate to legal concepts surrounding minors and infants and their transition into adulthood, specifically focusing on the concept of reaching the age of majority. Analysis based on provided documents. The jurisdiction over infants. When a person reaches the age of majority, they are no longer considered an infant in the eyes of the law. The court's jurisdiction over the estate of an infant ceases once the individual reaches the age of majority, typically 21. Okay? Adverse, it's actually not typically 18 to 21, it's 21. 21. It's 21. Adverse possession. Infants have specific legal protections regarding property and transactions. For example, statutes of limitations are suspended during infancy. When infant reaches the age of the majority, these protections may no longer apply in the same manner. Transactions with banks and other financial instruments. Infants can make deposits and manage bank accounts as if they were adults once they reach the age of majority. The right to reclaim funds becomes absolute upon reaching the age of the majority. Maintenance of the infant. The court may order allowances for support, maintenance, and education during infancy. Upon reaching the age of majority, these legal protections typically no longer apply unless specified otherwise by law or contract. And I said that, I told him that a significant event occurs when a person reaches the age of the majority. And he's going to tell me why that is significant. The attainment of the age of the majority is a significant event in the context of legal rights and responsibilities. It marks the transition from being considered an infant or a minor under the law to being fully responsible for one's actions and legally competent to manage property and enter into contracts. The relationship between the documents and the query. Transition from infancy to adulthood. The provided documents discuss various legal aspects related to infants, including their estate management by the court, rights regarding adverse possession, deposits with banks, and maintenance. When a person reaches the age of majority, these legal protections and administrative roles change significantly. Okay? Congressional intent. Congress recognizes that reaching the age of the majority is a critical point where individuals gain full legal capacity and responsibility. This recognition ensures that minors are protected until they reach an age where they can manage their affairs independently. The legal protection and right. And so in conclusion, the provided documents and their user query are closely related in that they both highlight the legal significance of reaching the age of the majority. According to Congress, this event is crucial as it marks the transition from infant estate management under the court's jurisdiction to full legal competence and responsibility. This transition ensures appropriate protection for minors until they reach an age where they can manage their affairs independently, taking them out of the court's jurisdiction. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to tell him can you comment on the sovereignty of the individual as mentioned in the Congressional Act and how it plays a role in the self-governing republic. According to the previous document. And because we're missing a crucial element here, okay? Because Congress said something pretty important. And he tells us that, in summary, the sovereignty of the individual plays a pivotal role in the structure and functioning of a self-governing republic. The Constitution ensures that this sovereignty is reflected in all legislative processes, blah, blah, blah. The General Assembly acts as a primary representative of the people, ensuring blah, blah, blah. And the system allows for a balance between individual rights and blah, blah, blah. And collective governance. Individual rights and collective governance. No, it specifically says self-governance, fostering a republic where individuals can actively participate in shaping the government that serves them. See, the government is in place to serve the people. That's why there's all kinds of public services, okay? Because government is there to serve. They are public servants, okay? So, let's just take a look at that particular second document that I shared with him. Not the infant document, but and that's going to be in this folder. That is 54 Stat 178. And we're just going to do that. And it is not very long at all. And so, let's see where we can find. I'm just going to scan through it here. We're just going to start at the top. Okay? Right up here at the top. So it says, and I guess I can zoom in somehow. I'm just going to read it. It says, whereas, no, we're going to go to the very top. Okay, so this is joint resolution. This is 54, the 54th statute, 178. 54 Stat 178. May 3rd, 1940. It is a House joint resolution, so both the House and the Senate. I'm sorry, it's a joint resolution. Not a House joint resolution, it's a joint resolution. It says, authorizing the President of the United States of America to proclaim an American Citizenship Day for the recognition, observance, and commemoration of American citizenship. Whereas some 2 million young men and women in the United States each year reach the age of 21 years. And whereas it is desirable that the sovereign citizens of our nation be prepared for their responsibilities and impressed with the significance of their status in our self-governing republic. Therefore be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled that the third Sunday in May each year, which is now, what is it? I'm sorry, what was that? Memorial Day? Yeah, that's right. It's no longer an American Day. They moved it around and changed it. But this is Congress originally in 1940 recognizing when citizens of America, of this nation, reach the age of 21, that it is desirable that the sovereign citizens of our nation be prepared for their responsibilities and impressed with the significance of their status. So, responsibilities to govern themselves. status. You're no longer a minor anymore. You're the age of the majority in our self-governing republic. And that's the act right there. So it's always been that when we reach the age of the majority, that we're supposed to be governing ourselves at that point. We're not supposed to be under the control of government. Government only has control when we are minors, infants. They assumed that control. But that's what it's all about. So, without taking up too much more time, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And so, you know, pretty cool stuff. Definitely worth reading about. So, you know, if you want them documents, hit me up. I'll send them to you. JasonJoplin@gmail.com. I'm sorry, JasonJoplin2016@gmail.com. Anyways, just ask for the infant docs. Peace.